Live! We are live on social media. Hello, everyone. I'm Caroline, and welcome for another episode of the Puppet Podcast. I'm so happy to have today the chance to connect with UK puppeteer, the wonderful Lee Thompson. What a tao! So it's the morning on one side of the world and the late afternoon on the other side, and because we both have children, we figured this out and we have busy schedule, but here we are for this episode. Before we go into the interview, I always plug some stuff, and I want to remind you our Patreon community right there. And also, I must have something to pop up in the screen. We have the book of Eli, who is on Amazon, and the podcast we talk about how to create a podcast as an artist, and how to have good tools and how to figure this out to make a living from your art. So the purpose of this podcast is also to bring the spotlight towards great puppeteer and great artists, and to talk about our passion, arts, the arts in general, but also what makes it so attractive and why we love it. And so that's the purpose of that. So everyone, feel free to talk with us if you are live. So you can comment and chat, ask question. That's the magic of it. And just say hi from where you are. Maybe you're watching from, I don't know, but tell us. So everyone, please drum roll for the wonderful Lee Thompson. Oh my God.
Oh, hello, Caroline. How are we doing? Sorry, I was reading the book. I'm hooked, aren't I? Hooked. I can't stop reading it. How are you? Episode 135. Here we are live.
Yes, that's
Podcast, isn't it?
a long
It's
run, and I'm happy to connect with you, Lee.
I'm happy to connect with you as well. 135 episodes, 134 episodes, then this one. It's taken you 134 episodes to get here. But finally, this podcast peaks, doesn't it? It begins properly now because I'm here. Here we go, episode 135. Let's talk puppets.
Let's talk about it. And first, I always ask the puppeteer to present himself because I can give you a big introduction, but I always like to hear you from your mouth. So please do, Lee.
Yes, so my name is Lee Thompson and I'm a puppeteer. I perform puppets on a near daily basis, mainly to entertain myself. But every now and again, somebody might ask me to do those puppets in a public situation. Not that often, but sometimes they do. And I obviously do a lot on social media. I do bits here and there. I am a puppeteer. I'm proud.
Yes, I love the fact that you're proud. That's what we need. We need proud puppeteers to talk about this art. So let's go into the deep question of the Puppet Podcast. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go deep. Let's
Let's
start
go.
with the deep one.
Yeah, the I always want to know the why. Why do you cherish the art of puppetry?
Yes, it's a good one, isn't it? And I think that I cherish it because it's unique. And I think, firstly, it's one of the few things I'm good at. I like to think that I'm probably not, but in my head, I'm good at it. I think puppetry is unique because it's the opportunity to tell your own stories, display your own characters, going to share what you want to share. It's like a director where you can control the cast, but they don't answer back, that kind of thing. There's something lovely about being able to tell stories and bring characters to life and, kind of bring it alive. But I don't know the appeal because I think I loved puppetry before I knew they were puppets, because I also think there's something amazing. Looking over my shoulder, there's also something amazing about seeing these creatures and non-humans and colorful and usual characters come to life. So I think I'm equally impressed by it. So I think it's an element of control and
Mhm.
performing my own thing, but also I think it's because it's wondrous, it's impressive, it's like a real life cartoon. There's something about bringing these crazy creatures or people, absurd characters, abstract beings to life that I think fascinates me, and I'm equally a fan as much as I enjoy doing it. So yeah, it's just good, isn't it? It's fun.
I totally agree. And I love the fact that you bring the control aspect as a director. You direct the cast. You are the creator. So that's so true.
It is, especially with the social media stuff, you know. And again, I think things have changed post COVID. You know, the way we all work. I think historically, for an artist, it was about auditions and impressing and picking up work that way. Now, I think it's more about using social media to advertise and showcase your work, with the hope of attracting, you know, the right interest. So you have to work a lot alone. So
Mm.
therefore, you need that director's view, you know, especially that because a lot of my videos are multiple characters. So I have to, you know, like a play, block it out. I have to work out who's saying what here. Then I'll go away and film this character over here saying this line. Then I chop them together to have a conversation. So I'm proper, you know, playing director. I'm defining what I'm saying and, you know, every piece of kind of the blocking. So yeah, you have to be in control.
Yes. And in terms of control, we have the control of not all our viewer, but we know that we have Evan from El Paso who are watching right now. So hi Evan. And yes, let's go to the next deep question is the crush. I always love to hear some anecdote about the crush on puppetry. So how did your crush on puppetry happen?
How did my crush start? How did the beginning of this
Yeah,
loving relationship
this
begin?
the start
Yeah,
point.
it's like a question. It's like an obsession. I think it started probably television stuff, you know, because I think that's where you get kind of the youngest influence. You know, parents don't take young children to theatres and stuff. So I think you start with that. I have vivid memories of watching Cosmo and Dibs on You and Me. Do you ever watch that? You and Me and You. They were such good characters, and again, I couldn't quite figure out, you know, if they were alive or what they were, because you're not aware of that bit below. You just see it as these amazing creatures that were alive. But then I got to experience other types of puppetry as a child. So it was very much on the beach. We would have Punch and Judy. That's the way to do it, you know, with all that stuff and the characters. Holiday camps would usually have some blacklight puppetry, you know, the UV puppets and that sort of thing. And I got to see all that. But it just appealed from the start. Again, I remember if I went out to a holiday camp or I went out to watch entertainment, I didn't really want to watch the singers. I didn't really want to watch the bands. You know, if it was the variety stuff that appealed to me, if there was a puppeteer, brilliant. If there was a magician, fantastic. That stuff was just a bit more interesting. You know, I wanted to see that kind of variety type stuff. And still now, you know, if I watch those singing competitions on TV, those X Factors and Got Talents things, that predominantly they're, you know, singer based, and I find it a bit dull. You know, I'll listen to music when I go to run, or if I'm in the car, I'll play it, kind of thing. But I don't want to watch people singing ballads. But I was fascinated by puppetry. So I think the crush starts from just loving watching it. I think the
Mm.
bit about doing it yourself comes a lot later. At first, you know, this is brilliant. You know, and again, we were so lucky in the UK. We had Rainbow every day. The great Ronnie Ledrew performing Zippy. You know, we had Sooty, which is fantastic. Rod Hull and Emu. You know, we had Sesame Street. You know, the Muppet Show. My first birthday cake had Kermit the Frog in it. So we had all those great puppet shows. You know, I think I was very lucky to be raised in that era of, you know, 4 TV channels, and there was always something puppetry kind of on. So it was just more fun. And even now, I'll watch puppets more than cartoons or
Mm.
standard programs. That I'm still captivated by it, and I don't really know why. It just I find it really interesting. And again, I forget the puppets within seconds. I think Big Bird's real. You know, I just I fall for it every time. So
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't matter that I know the secrets because I still love the illusion. So I
Yeah.
think the crush was a little bit TV and a little bit live. Uh, yeah, I'd like any. I still now love any type of puppetry. It's all good.
I love it. And it's funny to talk about the aspect of being a spectator first and get seduced by the art form. That's really interesting. I want to hear your definition of a puppet, but because you talk about a lot of type of stuff, but how you define your practices? Do you have like a word to explain it for kids, or how?
No, I don't. And if I'm honest, I don't really use the word puppet because I
Mm-hmm.
think it puts people off.
Mm.
Um, even now, there's times I won't use puppeteer, I use performer when I'm
Mm.
talking to people because there's associations. And I think the negative association is the kids one. It's the
Mm-hmm.
idea that it's and it's no disrespect because they do an amazing job, but it's not kids TV. It's the early kids parties. It's the kind of the younger age, and kids TV performers are incredible. They're so talented and that sort of thing. And they work incredibly hard. They're traveling around in the job. It's so impressive. But I think a lot of people's perception of puppetry is just that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's more of the fear of being labelled, by the same brush than it is any kind of disrespect to those performers. Uh, so my definition, I think of a puppet, it's just something three-dimensional that you can touch, and even though you physically can't touch it, you can see it's real. You can see it in real kind of surroundings. I think a puppet is, I don't know. Again, it's more like a magic trick because it seems to be there and there kind of thing. It's cartoons aren't as impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Drawings aren't as impressive. There's something about seeing it and seeing it interact with real life things. But anything can be a puppet. A duster. Could be a puppet. You can grab anything and it can be manipulated. I think it has to be something real. I'm not a fan of the CGI puppetry. I don't think it's puppetry. It's cartoon, isn't it? It's cartoon.
You name it. The
Yeah.
scissor appeared.
Don't get any of those people on the podcast. That should be the rule. No CGI people. They can have their own CGI podcast. I think puppetry should be something physical. There should be a weight to it.
Yeah.
Um, and also, I think it's because it's connected to you as well. And if that's the same for marionettes. I think because puppetry is connected to you, you get that breath. You get that kind of every
Yeah.
movement and kind of subtlety. Whereas I don't think you get that with CGI or cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's foreign to you. Where this is touching you, it's part of you. No matter how it's manipulated, it's part of your being. So
Yeah.
that would be my definition. A puppet is an extension of the performer.
That's well said. And true, it's closer to dance and like physical stuff than like computer. I totally agree. And I want to know, like, for the study, what would be the best field of study for someone who wants to become a puppeteer?
Well, you mentioned dance. So I did that. Well, at university, I did dance and theatre.
Mm-hmm.
I've still got the moves, so you still do it. Because I think physicality is really important. So I don't think you need to be an overly trained dancer, but I think you have to be a loose kind of physical person. So I do think dance is important. I think, any theatre and character stuff, so whenever you do kind of acting or any theatre stuff, I think it's really important. And the other one, when I was at university, I did some stand-up comedy. And I think
Mm.
that helps the ability to improvise and kind of feel it out and trust your instincts, go with your gut. I think all that stuff's important to be able to stay loose and not be settled and that kind of thing. So that's what I'd advise if anybody, wants to do more puppetry. I'm sure if they're watching this, they must have some interest in puppetry. I think, yeah, theatre, dance, and any sort of improv or stand-up style comedy, I think is really good. Uh, any sort of physical performing art. Stay
Yeah.
loose. It's easy. It doesn't hurt as much.
I love the advice. Stay loose, people, and you could
You
get
do,
into.
you do, and it's so important because when I puppet, especially when it's summer like this, you can get so hot as well, and
Yeah.
it's easy for everything to hurt and ache and stuff. So you do have to be very kind of physically aware of your own body. You can't be doing it if this hurts or you haven't stretched or that kind of thing. So it is important, that you do, I guess respect those kind of dancing principles, and you look after yourself, and you have really good kind of body awareness. Because
Yeah.
after a while doing this, keeping your head out of shot,
Yeah.
it's not the best look kind of thing. But you have to be so loose so you don't get that soreness, so you don't get that pain.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Totally.
stay loose.
That's a
I think it's if anything, it's something to live by, isn't it?
yeah. I think it's important in many aspects of lives. And yes. And do you feel we are in an ascension in the puppetry field? Like it's getting more popular? in your perception or not?
Yeah, alas, no, I don't. I think if being really honest, I think we had a little spike during COVID and the lockdown in 2000, where a lot of people had time on their hands. And when you've got time on your hands, why not put a puppet on your hand? You know, and
Mhm.
I think there was all that people were on furlough and they were in their houses and they were discovering again these long lost interests in puppetry and that sort of thing. So I think there was a little surge and kind of interest there, and I saw a lot of more people getting into it. Unfortunately, though, I think over the last year and a bit, I've seen that decline. I see a lot less. There's friends of mine that got into puppetry and really got into it, and have kind of gone back to their old life. I think the 9 to 5 day jobs and responsibilities, and being able to see friends again, evenings, weekends, and social lives, all this sort of stuff, I think has come into play. So I'm not seeing as much socially. Uh, I think generally, though, about being on the Ascension, I think it depends on which country. I think
Mm.
television puppetry for kids is still very popular. I think there's certain performers that still do very well, and certain productions and big shows that still do very well. Uh, but I do feel it's not in the mainstream. I think it's on the outside, and
Mhm.
uh, I think it's difficult. I think you need some big mainstream performances. I always found puppetry does well when the Muppets are doing well. You know, when they're on
Yeah.
TV or their films are out, because it's on people's minds again. So people want to get into it, or they want to seek out other types of puppets like the Muppets, and they look for that stuff. So that helps us all.
Yeah.
Um, when it goes out of trend a little bit, and it does come back, it is a cycle. It's up and
Yeah.
down all the time. So I'm not saying doom and gloom. I'm not saying give up on your puppet dreams, people, because I still think there's definitely some optimism, and I think it will kind of pick up again, but it goes in peaks and troughs. There's points where other things are more trendy. Roblox,
Yeah.
Minecraft, whatever's Lanky Bots, whatever's trendy now. There's other things that kind of come in. But I think the good performers and the passionate people will always be there. So
Yeah.
eventually, when it does get trendy, they'll get kind of seen and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I must say, well, it's cool not to be trendy. You don't have to do the mainstream thing. There's far too many singers in the world. There's far too many actors. Not that many dancers, but probably too many as well. And I don't think there are enough puppeteers,
Yeah.
of puppet people. So do keep doing it. There's something lovely about it not being mainstream. You get more attention. I have videos that have been seen 100,000 times. Because there's less competition. If I was a singer uploading a video, you'd never find my cover of I don't know, the song from Titanic, because everybody's singing it. Whereas I think because there's less people doing it, it stands out, and you remember these characters and stuff because
Yeah.
you don't see them here, there, and everywhere. So there's pros and cons of not being in that ascension. It's not doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Uh, and again, advice, because let's give the advice. I think get into it, get good at it, get successful, then get ready for that next wave of popularity, because it will come. Mark my words. And when it does, you can ride on that, can't you? You can take advantage of that popularity when it
So
comes back with a vengeance.
yes, and you talk about the countries as you have traveled for a project. I want to hear you on this aspect of countries and popularity.
Yeah, isn't it interesting? And it was one of the benefits of, again, the COVID lockdown time. I'm very lucky. So where I am now, this is my studio, and there's a green screen and camera setup and stuff. I'd show you, but it's quite messy. Um, and that put me at an advantage. So when the lockdown thing happened and everybody was stuck in the house, people still wanted entertainment. So I found I was picking up more work from countries around the world because they were asking me to do things at home. And because I could edit and green screen and put it everywhere, and put the backgrounds to be anywhere, I could make that stuff. So I had this little kind of surge in work while, a lot of people were stuck doing nothing. But it was everywhere. I did a little project in Iran, India, Thailand. I did a recruitment video for a company in New Zealand, which is incredible. And I find it amazing because, the UK and New Zealand, we couldn't be further apart. That a little recruitment firm, weren't that little, but a firm in New Zealand saw my stuff and entrusted me to kind of represent their company. So
Wow.
I made their recruitment video. They sent me all the voices recorded, and I lip synced and put it all together and stuff. And they used it in their advertising. And it was incredible. So the world felt a lot smaller. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's continued now. The fact that, the UK is talking to Canada right now.
Yeah,
It's incredible. And, all these methods. I'd never really used Zoom before lockdowns,
totally.
Teams and all those things. And now we're off that way. It's happening. High five.
High five! Woo!
See? So it's amazing. So I think it has loosened things. And
Yeah.
again, although, like I said earlier, puppetry may not be in that peak of kind of popularity, it's now made my net of work even bigger, because it's meant that I can now, pick up things all around kind of the world. So there's real positives as well.
I love it. I want to hear you now on your biggest purpose, like the goal or what you have in vision for the future. I love this part of the interview. So let me ask you, what is your biggest purpose as a
Well, I
puppeteer?
think the first thing is to make sure you're supporting the patron. There you go at the bottom. Puppet Podcast, 2 exclamation points. There we go. I have my own Patreon as well. If you want to support me, please do, people. I
Yeah.
think the purpose is quite, I want to say kind of undramatic, because in your fiance's book, it talks extensively about a purpose and having a real kind of goal. And the one he talks about the most is just making people happy. And I think for me, a part of it is making myself happy. But it is an entertainment factor. It is kind of brightening people up. I think especially in social media, the idea that you can, give somebody a minute and give them a little laugh, or just, brighten up their day and that kind of thing. And I think the purpose is just to do more of it, isn't it? I think the purpose is to entertain as many people as possible, and continue to be creative, continue to give yourself that creative outlet, and find opportunities to be creative and entertaining and that sort of thing. And be open to what that bigger purpose and opportunity could be. Because again, the lovely thing about doing this is there's not really an end goal.
Yeah.
I've got 6,000 followers on Facebook. I don't have a goal of 10. I just see what happens, because the goal won't make me feel any better. I'm not, my happiness level won't increase if I get. I mean, saying that, I'd love you to follow me, everybody, on Facebook, Instagram, that sort of thing. But it doesn't give you that satisfaction. It doesn't give you that end goal. So I think the purpose is just to entertain, have fun, enjoy what you're doing, and see where it takes you. I think that's certainly my purpose.
Yeah. But I love it. And you mentioned your Patreon and your followers and all of that. I feel it's kind of you have a new stage to entertain instead of the
I
real
do.
performance.
Yeah, no, and it's been amazing. So the patrons there, and the patron's fantastic, because you get early access to exclusive videos and all that sort of stuff. And certain levels, you get personalized messages. But also, it's taken off in this last year, the Celeb VM and Mimo, the personalized kind of greeting stuff, where, people will order the messages and I personalize it up and stuff. So by all means, again, check it out, guys. Celeb VM, Mimo, all the links are on my website, leethompsonpuppeteer.com. Check it out. But that's become something which is lovely for birthday greetings, hello to friends and that kind of thing. When people can't think, of what to buy someone. People tend to buy them when they've forgotten a birthday, and it's that morning and they're panicking and they haven't got time to get to the shops, because they can order it. And usually, if not much on, I can get it done that day. And it's a nice little thing, and you can share it on social media and stuff. The shop is working really well as well.
Yeah.
Get the merch, guys. Get the merch. We do everything. Restyle your hair. That's the best thing about the caps. I'll wear it. Plug it. We've got the hats. We've got the mouse mats. There we go. Get yourself a mouse mat. They're fantastic. The badges, again, have been a nice little seller. Get yourself a pin badge. There you go, and that kind of thing. And I think it's nice. If you're a fan of puppetry stuff, why not kind of buy it? So, but between the merchandise stuff, between the personalized greetings and the patron, you can, again, make a little bit of money, and you can invest that and kind of use that. And it's lovely also to share this stuff. Like, I find it amazing when anybody buys a t-shirt or buys a hat or a mouse mat and stuff. Anybody would want this stuff. In fact, at the end of this, let's do a competition. Let's give away one of these t-shirts. Let's do it. Stay watching, viewers. A competition coming up at the end. This is your chance to win one. You can win one of these t-shirts, not this one. I'll get you a brand new one, and you can pick a male version or female version. You can pick sizes as well. And it's judo. There we go. It's on this T-shirt. It's all retro and vintage. Look at that. How cool is that? That's happened. I've made my mind up. That's happening. We're giving away a T-shirt live on this podcast later on. Don't switch over. Stay on
Don't
this.
switch. Stay with us. And yeah, we have a big question from Rubina who asks. So let me drop it in the screen. It's about Patreon, like the help that it's create in artist life. Does it make noticeable difference in the ability to make art, considering the work that needs to be put into just promoting Patreon? So that's a kind of a tricky question.
Here's
That's
the
really,
question. It's a three-part question. What a
yeah.
fantastic picture she has. So I think, yes, it helps, as in it gives you a commitment, because if people are committing to you and saying they want to give you money every month, they want something in return. So you have to make it a priority. So it's a case of going in and making sure you're offering something every week, and you continue to do that. Again, that's not a massive hassle for me, because I've got the studio here. You know, I can kind of create that. I'm also lucky that I've got a good backlog of content. So there's I've got a lot of old videos. So if I was doing another project, I could still kind of share them. But Patreon's okay, because it's not a long-term commitment. If at any point people feel as though you're not value for money, or they don't want to support you, or they found somebody else to support, they can just cancel it. So that there's not that obligation. So I don't feel I owe them a lot. It sounds really harsh, but because the Patreon as well, I think mine is £1 a month, £2, £3, or £5. It's not a vast amount, and the vast majority of people are just doing the £1 a month thing. So it's more support and access to seeing the stuff, So no, I feel okay about it. But it could be good. I mean, if you need a reason to make more content and a reason to be more active, then that responsibility / burden, I think it's no bad thing, because it will encourage you to go and do that and to push yourself to more content. So yeah, I don't see them as an issue. And like I said, because people can cancel, if a week passed and I didn't post something and somebody felt as though they weren't getting value for money, they could just cancel. So it feels okay. I think if it was a higher price point, I'd probably, I don't know, I might think about it a bit more, worry about it a bit more.
But I love the fact that you bring the fact to be committed. Like, you have an audience, you have someone that, and you have to present something. Even for me, the podcast, I need to do an interview. I need to. It's really and you build your ability to answer a bit of Rubina's question. I feel you also build knowledge and ability, and you could build yourself towards also this. You learn how to talk to the camera. You learn all of that.
Yeah,
so.
You're right. There's also an element of doing something regularly. You get better at it. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? You practice, and I think it's the same thing. I think if you've got a patron and you've committed to putting out X amount of content, then you're going to have to do it. So again, that gives you that drive and a reason to do it. So yeah. I think it could improve you as a performer. I agree with that.
Yeah.
The plugging bit, I think you have to take with a pinch of salt. I try not to overly plug it. I think there's that balance of, I always do at least one video a week on my social media. So I always want to give out the free stuff as well. Then during the week, I may mention the Patreon once a week. Something like that. And I know, again, Eli talks about not being ashamed about it, of kind of pushing your art and asking for it. And I think you have to find that balance to what you're comfortable with. I'm genuinely, not going to make anyone buy these hats, but they are available at a bargain price. I think it's about £14, something around there. They are fantastic, very cool, look retro, like strange things. But I'm not going to keep going on about it. So it's one of those where I'll post it every now and again, that if people who are interested want to buy the stuff, they can. If they don't, they don't. And I'm not offended. And as long as they're, supporting and liking and enjoying the content, then it's okay. So Patreon's a no pressure type of shop, where it also depends on the person. If they've got disposable income, if they're financially in a good position. If they're not, I would hate people to give me the last penny, So there's absolutely no burden or responsibility to
Yeah.
do that stuff. It's down to them to support it if they want, and if they do, fantastic. And I massively appreciate it.
Yeah. So Rubina said it's a good answer. So thank you. She talked about the aspect of both sides, basically, because the Patreon and the supporter are both committed. So that's good. So my last deep question would be, where do you see the art of puppetry in 10 years?
Oh God, that's a tough one, isn't it? Looking forward, using your power, seeing into the future. What happens to
Yeah.
puppetry in the next
You
10
have
years?
the superpower. I know that.
It's interesting because I don't think it's changed that much in the last 10 years, if I'm really honest. All of 10 years before then, some of these puppets are more than 10 years old. This one is. It looks very much the same. So it's not that different. So I think the biggest difference is probably continuing to switch to social media, public stuff. So in fact, I've got some. About 15 years ago, I started doing personalized DVDs. It was the first kind of puppetry thing I used to do. Can you see them? So we've
I
got
can go bigger. Let's go bigger.
Oh, here we go. You see, these are just some examples. So what I used to do, it's nice to be full screen. What I used to do was make personalized DVDs. That was my first kind of regular puppetry work, I guess. And I never really advertised it. And what it was is each one's about a 20-minute length, and it's a personalized episode of like Sesame Street. It's that sort of thing, where I'd get the parent to tell me a bit about the child, their hobbies, what their relatives are called, their favorite songs. And the puppet would do that for 20 minutes. It would with lots of little short scenes. They do a little bit of counting. I had the same generic kind of footage that I would use in each one, but I personalized each one. So the puppet would come out and say, "Hi, Stephen," and that kind of thing. And I've been talking to your Uncle Dave, and kind of thing. And sometimes we put pictures in of the family and everything. And it was brilliant because I'd do them and the kids would love them and they'd watch them to death, but then they'd share it with their friends and then they all do one and stuff. So I got by. I was doing that for about 10 years without really doing any advertising. But again, it's a type of thing that it's kind of become dated in the last 10 years. Like now, for physical media, the idea of doing it. And to be honest, it got quite repetitive, so I stopped doing it. But that's, I think, a really good change of 10 years to now, and now it's all kind of online. So I don't think DVDs are going to make a comeback. Sorry, guys. I think that they may have had their day. Keep them though, because they're still great to watch, and not everything's on Netflix. But just seeing that change, I only think that will continue. So I think we'll see more and more stuff kind of go in social media. I think social media is where you can showcase your talents, your ability. I think it's like a type of I don't know, TV channel. I guess it's a way of finding your audience. It's building a following, getting well known. I think all that will amp up. I'm sure different platforms will launch, and we'll see all that. But I think it'll be largely the same, because apart from the DVD change, it feels to me the same as what I was doing 10 years ago. So I think if you ask me what would happen in 100 years, it'd be a bit more dramatic. But I think in 10 years, we'll just probably be a bit grayer, more wrinkly. That's probably what will happen. More forgetful, a bit more moody, perhaps, because we get more tired. I think petrol prices will be higher. I think the summers will be hotter. I don't think we'll get as many snow days in the winter. What else will happen in the future? I think we'll probably all will be driving electric cars. I think once they sort out the charging and make it more accessible, I think that will happen. I think life will be more expensive, but that's okay. I think kids will live with their parents a lot longer. See, all these are predictions guaranteed to come true.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good 10 years. Let's see what happens. Let's watch this back in 10 years' time. See how much. Hopefully, we've got hoverboards by then.
Yeah.
Flying bicycles, something like that. But yeah, who knows what could happen in the next 10 years?
Yeah, let's dream of something great, and I love it. So let's bring some puppet towards the screen and the camera.
Who would you like to meet? I should show Judah, because he's on my t-shirt. Again, the t-shirts are available on my online shop. If you are interested in the patron or visiting, get a personalized message or buying things in the shop, again, Lee Thompson Puppeteer it's the way to go. Look, there he is. I don't know what you want him to do. Give us a dance, Judo. Oh, I like your hat. Oh, do you? It's good, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, I do. Are they available to buy? Yes, they are, actually. Funny you mentioned that. The Lee Thompson puppeteer.com. If you click on the link about the shop, you can get one. Oh, great. I'll buy 2. Well, you can. You can buy as many as you want, Judo. That's the magic about the shop. Can I get personalized messages? You can, Judo. You can. Looking at you. But not from you. I think there's another 3 characters I picked. Oh, okay, fine. If you can't get one of me, there's no point. Well, no, there is a point, Judo, because there's some other good characters. Oh, do you want to meet some of the other characters? Oh, there's the camera, Judo. There's the camera. Oh, there we are.
Yeah, here. Yeah, but you are a great one. I think we love you, Judo. Thank you so much, Lee, for this. It's so
Sorry.
cool.
Oh, this is Cedric. As you can see behind me, Cedric.
Oh, yeah. Let's look at Cedric.
Cedric is in a video this weekend, actually, coming out on Saturday, 7 p.m. It's my channel. Cedric's quite big, though. He's cosmic, aren't you, Cedric? Hello. I'm the cosmic bunny. Hello. I can see the future. There will be flying cars. I can guarantee it. Okay, Cedric, if you think you can. Do you want to dance as well? We love a good puppet dance over here, don't we? If I must. Okay, Cedric, hit it. Look, he loves it, Cedric. Let's have the rat. Lucky the rat.
Okay, great. I make you work a lot this.
I know, and it's hot, isn't it? Let's just stay like that for a second.
I will bring you big again in big screen. Wow.
Oh, hang on. You can smell something. Oh, what is it? Oh, yeah. It can smell you. It can smell you. Yeah, I can. I can smell you.
Do you know the famous cheese, the famous Canadian cheese, the squeak cheese?
Squeak squeak?
Yeah, it's in the poutine, and it's a cheese that makes squeak when you eat it.
No, I don't. I do know about Edam, but I love any cheese.
So one day, if you show up in Canada, I must give you some squeak cheese.
Squeak squeak? Squeak squeak? I've never heard of squeak cheese. I know. I don't think it exists. I think she's made it up. Squeak. Does the cheese really squeak?
Yes, it's really squeak when you eat it. You have it in your mouth. It's hot and it's squeak.
Can you do the squeak sound? Do it now.
It's squeak.
I'm not
we have Robina who confirm it exists. I can confirm.
Ribena, like Ribena the drink. Yeah. I used to love Ribena.
Yes, she say eep. It's a squeaky song.
He's not impressed. I don't think he believes you. I don't think he believes in the cheese.
So I must send cheese to you one day.
Are you allowed to send it through customs cheese? I don't know. Every product, I don't know what the rules are.
Yeah, let's see.
But let's get back to the competition to win one of these T-shirts.
Yeah.
So why everybody stuck around. This is the big moment, okay? To celebrate episode 135 of the Puppet Podcast, Caroline Bernier-Dionne, that's how you pronounce it, and Lee Thompson have come together to offer this competition to our amazing viewers. To win one of these T-shirts, again, there's a male version or female version. You can pick if you're the lucky winner, and you can also pick the size. I think the small, medium, and large. I will ship it to you directly. Fantastic. All you have to do is on Facebook, share this video and comment win, W-I-N. If you comment win and you share the video, after, 7 days? Should we give them a week? Everybody
Yeah.
who shared it after that week will go in a hat. We'll pick out one lucky winner who will win one of these T-shirts.
Yes.
And that's happening officially. One of these T-shirts, again, you can wear it. It's pretty cool, retro. They're quite small sizes, so just be aware of that if you're lucky enough to win one of these T-shirts. All you have to do, again, the rules of that competition are to share this video,
Yeah.
comment below, and in 7 days' time, so next Wednesday, we'll pick a winner, and we'll announce the winner in the comments. Then you can let us know your address, and I'll send you a T-shirt.
Yeah. So thanks for that. It's so good that you make that in the interview. Thank you so
Making dreams
much,
come
Lee.
true. That's what we're doing. We're making dreams come true. Whoever wins the T-shirt, though, make sure you take a picture of you wearing it and share that as well. It's a lucky
Yeah.
winner. And you can gloat and show what a winner you are. And that's what other people could have won.
Yes. And Lee, if people want to reach you, ask more questions, talk to you, where they should go.
Yes, social media is probably the easiest way. So on
Yeah.
Facebook, Lee Thompson Puppeteer, Instagram, Lee Thompson Puppeteer. I think I'm on Twitter as Puppeteer Lee because Lee Thompson Puppeteer was gone. Why would someone take that? I think TikTok, Lee Thompson Puppeteer. As long as you search Lee Thompson Puppeteer, or if you go to the website leethompsonpuppeteer.com, there's links to everything there. So if you just Google Lee Thompson Puppeteer, always with the H and with the P spelling, you'll find my stuff. So yeah, by all means, reach out if you would like to.
Yeah.
For puppet related things only, though, just to be clear, don't reach out for any other stuff. If it's puppetry related, please do reach out.
Yeah. that's the way to be clear. Puppetry.
Yeah.
We talk on
Random questions. Yeah, no, yes. Let's try and keep it puppetry related.
Yeah.
Unless you want to give me things, then by all means.
We want to give you $1 million.
If they want, yeah, that's fine. I don't mind.
That's so cool, Lee. Thank you so much for your time. I know you are busy, you have a family, but to took the time to talk to us was really appreciate. Thank you.
No, thank you for obviously coming onto the show. Like I said, it's been lovely to see so many of my friends pop on the last 134 shows, and finally I'm here. And yeah, I'm a big fan. I think it's lovely to hear so many puppeteers share their stories and experiences and their kind of thoughts and passions for puppetry. So yeah, it was lovely to be asked, and I really appreciate being on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now it's the time that I push you out of the screen. So get ready to be thrown. And we say, everyone, bye to Lee. Bye-bye. Woo! And Lee, stay in the virtual studio. We can chat after. Don't leave. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for this wonderful episode to be with us and to keep sharing this art of puppetry. So cool. Yeah, stay tuned. We have many episodes coming. We figured this out, how to figure the summer schedule and everything. But you will see many stuff coming from the Puppet Podcast. And if you have the chance to see Ellie's book is on Amazon, but you will see some link pop up somehow. So everyone have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon if you are around, and stay tuned for another episode of the Puppet Podcast.